If you have a cow elk tag, this is like the easiest time. This is like catching sunfish and bluegills off the end of the dock if you're cow, because they are now so dialed in on food. There's no time of the year where cow elk are more focused on food. Well, they're always focused on food, but the priority of what the risk they're willing to take right now in the next month to get it's kind of like a bank account that you're living on your savings. A biologist told me this. She said, the fat on an elk or on a deer is kind of like your savings account that you got to live through until you get your next paycheck. So they're slowly starving to death from the day the snow comes. It's just, am I going to slow down the pace of how quickly I'm starving? And the way they do that is by feeding as much as they can in November.
And
Because
anyone
if
who
they,
comes from a logging family is going to understand that correlation because
yeah,
it's the layoff in January,
yeah,
and you try to just last until things dry up
yeah,
again and you can get back to work and make your savings account last. It's a lot
right,
like an elk living
yeah,
off of little bit they have.
yeah. And so these cow elk at this time of year, they're going to be the first ones down. And if you're in a migratory area, they're going to be the first elk down the migration corridor towards the winter range. And they're going to stay as high up as they can because somehow they must intuitively know, hey, we can't go eat everything off the winter range in November. We'll starve to death in April. But they're just going to keep bumping down, bumping down, bumping down. And they're going to be well ahead of the bulls in terms of this migration, or at least the mature bulls. There'll be some spikes and young bulls in with them. So then you get to a non migratory area, say the states we talked about, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada. The cows are going to be bedding and living so close to those lush moisture areas I talked about. They're not going to make these big long treks like the bulls do. They're going to be bedded. The first little ridge that has bedding cover near one of these more lush spots, you'll look, you're like, man, there's 20 cow elk bedded in there. They aren't going to waste calories moving back and forth. So,
Yeah,
uh,
mom wants
if
breakfast in bed.
awful close. So they're just easier to locate. Cows they're on their feet. They're staying out way later than the bulls are. And they'll respond to hunting pressure also, but usually the hunting pressure isn't as intense on them for as long of a period as it is on the bulls.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely a great time to go put some meat in the freezer and fill a cow tag, no doubt.
Yeah. And with those cows, you're going to have spikes. Spikes are going to be hanging
Mhm.
out with the herds. They're not going to be with
Yeah,
the mature bulls. You're
right.
going to probably have a handful of raghorns.
Hmm.
And there's a
Yep.
chance you might have, I wouldn't call it a mature bull, but there could be a 6 point, couple 6 points
Oh,
hanging out in the herd.
yep.
And so, I mean, it's not, don't overlook and say, well, the herd's down here, so I'm going to go up high and try to find the bachelor group of bulls, because there
Right.
could still be mature bulls that you're looking for
Oh yeah,
with the herd.
absolutely. Surely could be. And that, you know, you and I in the last episode we talked about how sometimes we've heard bugling in November.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will still get a few cows that haven't been bred that when they come walking by and that bull smells whatever it is, he's like, you know what? I don't think it's late season today.
Yep.
It's
No, and I
peak
think
rut
this
today.
this year, and again, it's so hard to predict. My
Yeah.
I would say my predictions were somewhat off in September. For some reason, the rut was more muted in the areas I hunted than what I expected it would be.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was because of how dry it was. It was
Yeah.
dry in a lot of states. There was something that just things weren't as intense as I thought they would be.
Hmm.
With that being said, there's probably going to be more cows that didn't get bred that
Could
are going
be.
to come into a second estrus. And
Hmm.
I, again, going back saying, I think the rut was, you always say it was earlier. Well, I don't know that it was earlier. I think it died faster than
Hmm.
normal. It didn't seem to linger as long. And there's always going to be, when we're in Montana and first week of October, they were still rutting plenty strong.
Yeah.
But there's, for the most part in the areas I hunted Idaho, Wyoming, Montana. I've talked to people from every state. Seems like things were a little bit less intense and died off a little bit faster. That's likely going to create more opportunity the end of October into that first part of November in a
Hmm.
second rut situation where there might be more cows that still need to be bred, where it's going to attract more bulls, that they're going to get more active, that they're going to travel into the herd more. And
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. I'll report back and let you know what I find, but
Yeah.
there's a
Well,
potential for that.
a lot of people say the dumbest thing in November is a 2.5-year-old mule deer in getting ready for the rut.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see a suicidal bull elk, have him encounter a cow on November 4th that hasn't been bred. He, it's like, you know what? If I'm gonna die because of this, well, what a good reason to go.
Yep.
I mean,
And I
when
forget the
you,
dates when we hunted Montana with you several years ago, but you got into a group of multiple bulls bugling, and I want to say it
yeah,
was mid-November.
yeah, it was like November 10th through the
Yeah.
18th, 16th, something like that. Oh yeah, there was one cow. We had 5 bulls with, well, it was a cow, a cat. I think it was 2 cows and a calf, and they were pushing each other and fighting. And I looked at that. I'm like, wow, he's bugling. What do you say we go over there and put an end to this noise?